Well, I told you that the championship Saturday would probably, turn everything upside down, and it did. It absolutely did. What was projected at first? Well, it kind of changed. It kind of changed in a big way because you look at the fact that, people obviously were favoring Oklahoma State to beat Baylor, and Baylor's the one that beat them. People were figuring that, Georgia might beat Alabama, but barely, but Bama destroyed them. Cincinnati, of course, beat Houston. Michigan, of course, beat Iowa. Who else? Who else won this past week? What? Pitt? Pitt won their game. It's like, and and Utah won theirs. It's like, what did you expect? What did you expect was going to happen? If you're projecting something because you're confident somebody's going to win, doesn't mean that projection's going to come true. And some of these ended up changing because of the big mess that was that happened, if you know what I mean. But anyway, today, the 5th of December, earlier today, around 9 o'clock a.m., actually Pacific time, which was noon Eastern, the NCAA released not only, I guess, the final rankings for the regular season, but they also released the bowl schedule for the regular non-New Year's Day 6 bowl games and, who's going to be competing in the college football playoff, the tournament of 4, if you will. And basically, this is how the non-New Year's Day 6 bowl games go. This is how the schedule goes for them. We're kicking off on the 17th with and these are official too. So we're kicking off on the 17th on ESPN, which is a Friday, with the Bahamas Bowl, Middle Tennessee versus Toledo. And then that's followed on ESPN2 by the Cure Bowl. That'll be Northern Illinois versus Coastal Carolina. Then the following day is a marathon of college football bowl games. So on the 18th, we have the Boca Raton Bowl, and it will be Appalachian State versus Western Kentucky. And then that's followed by the Celebration Bowl, which is Jackson State versus Prairie View A&M, and that'll be on ABC. Then on ESPN, we have the New Mexico Bowl, which will be Fresno State and UTEP. Then the Independence Bowl. I want to make sure I get all this right as well. It'll be BYU against UAB, Alabama Birmingham. That'll be on ABC. And then a little later, we have the LendingTree Bowl on ESPN. It'll be Eastern Michigan versus Liberty. Then we have the LA Bowl, which is the second to last bowl on the 18th. It's called the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. It'll be Oregon State versus Utah State. Then we have the New Orleans Bowl, which will close out the day. It'll be Louisiana versus Marshall. Then on the 20th, on Monday, December 20th, this is the only bowl game on the 20th of December. We have the Myrtle Beach Bowl. It'll be Tulsa versus Old Dominion. I think this might be Old Dominion's second or first official bowl game. I think they did get one last year, but that was due to, of course, the COVID circumstances and how a lot of schools, athletic departments, were not going to let their schools, even if they had winning records, accept bowl bids because of health and safety reasons. So I think this is the second or first one officially for Old Dominion. And like I said, that'll be the only bowl game on there. That's the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Tulsa and Old Dominion. Then the following day on the 21st, we have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It'll be Kent State versus Wyoming. And it looks like we just got an interception. I'm watching the Niners and the Seahawks right now. I just was reading that and then something happened there. I do apologize. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Making sure I don't miss anything. And then, yeah, just making sure. And let's see. Yeah, it was an interception. But anyway, after that, we have the Frisco Bowl, which will be San Diego State versus UTSA, that's Texas San Antonio, University of Texas San Antonio, in the Frisco Bowl. So that's only 2 games on the 21st. Then on the 22nd, we have 1 game, and that's the Armed Forces Bowl. That'll be Missouri versus Army. Then the following day, we have 2 bowl games. That's on the 23rd. We have the Gasparilla Bowl, in Tampa, Florida. That'll be Florida UCF, which I think is a good idea. If you want to really sell out, a stadium, take 2 local teams. One of them that uses, well, I wouldn't say uses at times, but occasionally uses Raymond James Stadium as their home, and put them against Florida, and you got to sell out right there with the Gasparilla Bowl, and that's on the 23rd. And then on the same day, this might be earlier because they have the Florida UCF game at 7 for Eastern. 4 Pacific, I should say. They had 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific for the Florida UCF game. So I'm assuming the Frisco Football Classic, which will be another game in Frisco, basically a day later, if you will. It'll be Miami of Ohio and North Texas. Then on Christmas Eve, we have the Hawaii Bowl, and that will be Memphis versus Hawaii. And instead of being at Aloha Stadium, it's going to be at the Clarence T.C. King Athletics Complex, which is the temporary home for the Rainbow Warriors. Ooh, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool here. Look at it. I got the other bowl games on the other side here because I had to flip them over. I had to reprint on 2 different sides. So excuse me. So here we have on Christmas Day, we have the Camellia Bowl. We have the Camellia Bowl, if you will, and that'll be Ball State versus Georgia State. Then on the 27th, which is a Monday, we have 2 bowl games. We have the Quick Lane Bowl, which is Western Michigan versus Nevada. And then the Military Bowl, which is East Carolina versus Boston College. And then on Tuesday, the 28th, we have the Birmingham Bowl, which is number 20 Houston versus Auburn. Then it's followed by the First Responders Bowl, which is Air Force versus Louisville. Now, like I said, that's the 28th. Let's see, you don't miss anything here. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything here. Okay, so we have more bowl games on the 28th. Just want to make sure. So we have, after the First Responders Bowl, which is on ESPN, and that, like I said, that's going to have Air Force versus Louisville. That's followed on ESPN by the Liberty Bowl, which will be Texas Tech and Mississippi State. Then that's followed on Fox by the Holiday Bowl, which will be North Carolina State, number 18, against UCLA. And then the 28th, then December 28th is the day of bowl games, closes out with the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which is Minnesota versus West Virginia. Then on the 29th, we have the Fenway Bowl, which is Virginia versus SMU. That's followed by the Pinstripe Bowl, which is Virginia Tech, Maryland. That's followed by the Cheez-It Bowl, which is Clemson, Iowa State. And again, I want to make sure I don't miss anything here. Okay, here we go. Then we have the Alamo Bowl. We have the Alamo Bowl I think. Yeah, make sure. Yeah, make sure. Which will be Oregon against Oklahoma, and then that's followed. Okay, no, that closes out the 29th, December 29th, if you will. That closes out December 29th. Then on December 30th, and that being the Alamo Bowl, closes out with Oregon and Oklahoma. Then on December 30th, we have the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which is North Carolina, South Carolina in Charlotte, North Carolina. So the Battle of the Carolinas, pretty cool. Then we have the Music City Bowl, which is Tennessee, Purdue in Nashville. Then we have the start of the New Year's Day 6 bowl games. So the first one we're starting out with is the Peach Bowl, and that will be Michigan State versus Pittsburgh. And that's followed by the Las Vegas Bowl, which is a lot later than usual. The Independence Bowl, here's what's funny, Las Vegas Bowl is on the 30th, usually a day reserved for the Independence Bowl, but I guess they switched. The Independence Bowl is a lot earlier this year. So the Las Vegas Bowl will be Wisconsin versus Arizona State. So that's kind of cool. And I guess they're treating it as being a lot bigger because, it's going to be played in Allegiant Stadium this year instead of, Sam Boyd Stadium like it was before. Then on the New Year's Eve, make sure we're caught up here, because like I said, I had to print things. Yeah, I think we're about caught up here. Yeah, I think we're about caught up here, guys. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're about caught up, if you will. I think. Yeah, we are. So New Year's Eve, what was I? Here we go. So New Year's Eve, we start out with where is it? Hold on, guys. There's a lot of papers here. Okay, so New Year's Eve, we start out with the Cotton Bowl, which is the first of the two college football playoff semifinals. It'll be Alabama versus Cincinnati. Number 1 Alabama now against number 4 Cincinnati. Cincinnati being the first, AAC, American Athletic Conference team to finally make the college football playoff. So that'll be the first game of the day, called the Cotton Bowl Classic, the first semifinal. Then that's followed by the second semifinal at the Orange Bowl, which will be basically Michigan against Georgia. So we could be, for the second time in the history of the CFP, we could be on the verge of another Alabama-Georgia national title game. So that could potentially happen. Now, in between, both games, in between the Cotton Bowl and Orange Bowl on ESPN, both on ESPN that is, we have the Gator Bowl, which will be Wake Forest against Texas A&M. Then, on CBS, we have the Sun Bowl, which is Washington State, Miami, Florida, if you will. It looks like, what happened here? It's a fumble. And it looks like a Niner is down, or a Seahawk is down. Anyway, like I said, in between both the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl, which are the semifinals for the college football playoff, both on ESPN. Like I said, we have the Gator Bowl, which is also on ESPN, which is Wake Forest, Texas A&M. Then we have CBS broadcasting the Sun Bowl, Washington State, Miami, Florida. Then we have the Arizona Bowl, which will be Central Michigan and Boise State. But here's what's interesting about this one. This is going to be on the Barstool Sports. Now you might say, well, where is that, right? Where's Barstool Sports? They are a digital platform you can find on Roku, you can find on Amazon, any place that might have access or have it part of its streaming service, maybe even your smart TVs, you'll be able to find it there. And they're basically taking a different directive, a different step, in presenting bowl games. So this way, well, they're also the sponsors of the Arizona Bowl, so they figure, let's not only be the sponsors, but let's be the broadcast partner for this bowl game and maybe set the standard. So if you want to watch the Arizona Bowl between Central Michigan and Boise State, if you're interested, just tune into the Barstool Sports streaming app or streaming service, and you'll be able to watch it there. Okay, so that closes out the New Year's Eve day bowl games. Then on New Year's Day, we have the Outback Bowl, which is Arkansas versus Penn State. So yeah, Penn State is in the Outback Bowl to kick things off against Arkansas. Then that's followed by the Citrus Bowl, which is Iowa versus Kentucky. Then we have the second of the New Year's Day 6 bowl games. We have Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame against Oklahoma State. And that's followed by the Rose Bowl, which is Ohio State versus Utah. That's right. Even though they did not win, basically, the bowl game, they did not win. Not the bowl game, but even though they did not win the conference or even be in the conference championship, because of their record and everything and the notoriety, I guess, they're going to be going to the Rose Bowl. So Ohio State versus Utah in the Rose Bowl. And I'm sure some people might say, well, that's kind of crying foul and all that. But then again, notoriety, name, value, record, you name it. Then that is and then the New Year's Day set of bowl games is concluded with Baylor, who beat Oklahoma State in the Sugar Bowl, taking on Ole Miss. So yeah, Baylor and Ole Miss will go into the Sugar Bowl against each other. And then the last regular bowl game of the postseason will be on January 4th. It will be the Texas Bowl. It'll be Kansas State and LSU. Kansas State and LSU against each other on January 4th. And I know some people might say, well, why is it scheduled so ahead of schedule? Why is it scheduled so far ahead? Why don't they just put it on New Year's Day? Again, it's all about availability, because you got to remember the stadium they're going to be playing it in, the NRG Stadium in Houston, that's the home of the Texans. So by being the home of the Texans, being an NFL team, it makes things a little bit more complicated, as well as you have other events that may be taking place there in between. So that was probably the only opening they have. But yeah, Kansas State will be playing in a 2022 bowl game a couple of days after New Year's. But hey, that's something in a sense, because a lot of teams actually consider that to be an honor and all that, a proud moment of, hey, we did it. Hey, we did it. We are here. And everything. We did it. We are here. Playing in 2022, or at the beginning of 2022, they consider that like an honor and all that. So anyway, that concludes the regular bowl, the regular non-New Year's Day 6 bowl games and all that. Not New Year's Day 6 bowls, but that concludes basically the regular postseason overall. And then on January 10th, it will be the national championship from Indianapolis, Indiana, home of the Colts. So yeah, those are your bowl games. And again, some of the projections that Action Network came up with, that Brett Murphy from Action Network came up with, did basically come true to an extent. Some of them were changed up, not entirely, but some of them were changed up, but they did come true to an extent. The predictions were, very, very, very much almost on the money, with a few exceptions here and there. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this postseason. It's going to be fun to see, how things play out, not only with these New Year's Day 6 bowl games, but also with the playoffs, the college football playoffs. Because again, we are on the verge of another potential Alabama-Georgia national championship. We're on the verge to that. Or potentially on the verge of that. We could have a Cincinnati-Michigan national championship for all we know. We can have an Alabama-Michigan. We can have a Georgia-Cincinnati. It's going to be, the possibilities are endless, but we'll see exactly what happens. If money talks, well, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, that usually means we might get a matchup we don't want to see again, but, it'll probably happen. But we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. As far as the other games go, for example, where am I? What's the 30th here? Where's the 30th here, guys? For example, see here. That's all new. The Peach Bowl, Michigan State and Pittsburgh. I can understand people like Michigan State blew. Why don't you get somebody else? Well, it's all about the at-large stuff. And I think if there's anything about this whole college football playoff thing that, people will look at, it's the at-large deal. And that's about it. I think that would be the only thing people would want fixed. Like, unless you're in the top 5 or the top 6, maybe even the top 8, you shouldn't be considered. And that's about it. But it is about the top 10. We got to remember that. And again, I know some people might say, well, top 10, probably the best, top 12. That's kind of what this is. That's kind of what this is. And again, I can understand some people being a little confused by it because, again, Ohio State against Utah in the Rose Bowl, it's like, okay, Utah, understandable, but really you don't want to put Iowa since they're like the second best team, record-wise, in the in the Big Ten. You don't want to put them. It's all, like I said, it's all sometimes based on, who's going to bring the bigger fan base and who has the bigger notoriety and all that. And from a story perspective, Utah against Ohio State, can David topple Goliath? That's the thing. Same with Cincinnati. Can Cincinnati, run the gambit and topple, the Goliaths that they face to get to a national championship? Well, we'll have to see. So, overall, though, like I said, the entire bowl schedule turned out almost exactly, almost pairing for pairing as what he predicted, and others probably projected and predicted, with a few changes here and there. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting one. I do like the, I do like the, the idea that, some of the games are going to have a very local flavor to them, like, Florida UCF and the Gasparilla Bowl. I like that the Duke's Mayo Bowl is going to have, North Carolina and South Carolina. I like that. I like it you have a nice local flavor for some of these because of the fact that, still people are going to not want to really take chances that much, with teams traveling. So the best solution is, do it locally, and go from there and see what happens. And I think they also want to sell tickets. Basically, they want to make sure that a lot of these bowl games get, near sellouts or decent sized crowds to kind of send the message of, hey, we're getting out of this situation that we've been in, and this is proof of it. Each bowl game is now pretty much a near sellout or has a decent attendance, to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the bowl games this year, and good thing about having the ESPN app and all that, even on the service is, and we got an interception by the Niners, or do we? We do. And like I said, basically, I like the fact that, again, and these all have a unique, some of them local flavor to them, and one of the things I do like is, even if I'm working, I can come home and watch them on the ESPN app, and and be done with that. So, catch up on what I'm not seeing and kind of see what it looks like, some of these bowl games are going to look like, and whether or not they will have what I'm predicting to be very decent-sized crowds in each of them. So, anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and, let you know about the scheduling, let you know about, who's going to be playing who, and in my opinion, some of the uniqueness of it. And till next time, guys, that's all I'm going to say. So comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, check me out at my Teespring store, especially now that Christmas is around the corner. You might want to find a good gift there, or you can find a good gift, I should say. Also check me out at BW Roses on Vimeo. Also check me out on BW Roses on Patreon, and on Venmo at Brian-Walmer.2. So until next time, guys, I'm out.